Okay, welcome back everyone to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling a really charged term, anti-Semitism.
Hmm.
Our mission here isn't about taking sides at all. It's about precision, using the source material you gave us to understand its definition, its origins, and that really critical line between valid critique and, well, prejudice. And right away, we hit this kind of tension. Some sources flag the word's origin as actual propaganda, but the hatred it describes, that's undeniably real. So it's complicated.
It really is. Let's start with the core definition just to ground us. Anti-Semitism, essentially, is hostility, prejudice, or discrimination against Jewish people.
Yeah.
The key thing is that it targets Jews as a people,
Mm-hmm.
often bringing in these broad conspiracy theories or ideas of collective guilt.
Okay, collective guilt. Let's unpack the boundary there because that seems to be where things get messy for a lot of people.
No.
The sources we looked at were very clear on this. Critically discussing Judaism as a religion or, say, debating Israeli government policy even strongly, or analyzing historical Jewish thought, that in itself isn't anti-Semitism. It only becomes prejudice when you start assigning negative traits or bad intentions to Jewish people as a whole, as an entire group.
Exactly. And to really get why the term itself causes confusion, we need to look at Semitic.
Hmm.
Linguistically, Semitic refers to a language family, part of the larger Afro-Asiatic group. So historically, people speaking these languages, Arabs, Jews, Assyrians, Amhara in Ethiopia, even Maltese, are all considered Semitic peoples. The big takeaway, Semitic is much broader than just Jewish.
Okay, right. So that's the linguistic fact, which leads directly to the paradox, the snag we found. If Arabs, like Palestinians, for example, and Jews, are both technically Semitic peoples, why is the word anti-Semitism used pretty much exclusively for prejudice against Jews, historically and now?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the answer, well, it's entirely political. It's about how language got co-opted. The word itself, anti-Semitismus, was coined back in 1879 by a German nationalist, Wilhelm Mohr. He wasn't a linguist studying all Semitic groups. No, he was creating a specific political term to target Jewish people in Germany, their assimilation, their influence. He used this sort of scientific-sounding term, Semitic, to lend his anti-Jewish politics a kind of academic gloss. He even started something called the League of Anti-Semites.
Wow. So the actual coining of anti-Semitism, it fits the textbook definition of propaganda. Language crafted specifically to push a political agenda and shape public perceptions.
Precisely.
That's quite an origin story for a word that describes such real suffering.
It is. And if we broaden out slightly, the sources also touch on accountability. They argue it's perfectly rational, even necessary, to criticize any group. Could be a nation, a religious institution, any community, really. If it claims a high moral ground, but its actions, like, say, violence or oppression, contradict those stated ethics. That's just holding powerful groups accountable. It's logical.
Okay, but practically speaking, how does someone passionate about, say, human rights or policy know when they're making that kind of necessary critique versus slipping into collective blame? Where's that line in practice?
That's the crucial distinction. Accountability focuses on actions. Prejudice condemns essence. So the line is crossed when the focus shifts from these specific policies or actions by these leaders are wrong, they violate moral codes or laws, to something like this entire group of people is inherently flawed or evil or corrupt by their very nature.
Oh, I see.
Judging behavior is rational critique. Judging intrinsic being, that's prejudice. Simple as that, really.
That's a really clear way to put it. Action versus essence. And, to tie this back, one source pointed out something fascinating from theology that mirrors this exact idea. It mentioned the line in the book of Romans, not all Israel is Israel.
Yeah.
It separates the sort of the identity or promise from the actual behavior of the people involved.
Exactly. It's an ancient recognition of that same distinction. So maybe the final thought for you, the listener, is this. Knowing that this term, anti-Semitism, which describes such profound real harm, actually began as calculated political propaganda, how does that knowledge maybe reshape how we understand the conversations happening today, especially those intense debates around politics, identity, and theology that use this very language? Something to think about.